All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you and welcome back to the channel. Today I have a very special interview. As you can see, I have two people that got so many questions about this new film that you might have seen released on the channel, The Old Ways, which I really enjoyed. And thus, I do have the director and the screenwriter, the director, Christopher Alender, and screenwriter, Marcus Gabriel. Gentlemen, how you doing today?
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you so much for having us.
I do got to add a little bit more to the accolades here, and also the co-founders of Soapbox Films. And I think it's really important too to state this: 25 years of friendship, and I think that's important because a lot of what the theme of this film, where you're talking about, kind of rekindling and getting in touch with our past and our core morals and a lot of that. And I think that something on surface level is something that people really take for granted. It's friendships. And, starting with that and hearing about you all being friends for 25 years, especially in a business such as this, is just really remarkable. But before we get into that, I definitely want to know, let's start off with the pandemic really quick. How has that really affected the filmmaking process for you all? And obviously, the release of this film.
Yeah. Well, we wrapped production less than a week, maybe before Los Angeles got locked down. We did our last few days of filming in Puerto Rico. So we flew back, we had to fly through Miami and then back here. And it's a pretty long trip, 8 or 9 hours total of travel. And by the time we landed, it's like everything had changed. Like had all these text messages and it was, things were getting shut down left and right. And we did all of the post-production was in lockdown via Zoom. And my editor and I didn't see the movie together in person until we were mixing it a few weeks ago. So that was different. But we made a lot of, technology caught up just in time, I think, to make something like this possible. Because 5-10 years ago it would have been, pretty difficult, I think.
Even like a year ago, it would have been very difficult. It was really nice to, we found different ways to share media. We found a lot of different ways to communicate, and really just, we had to rely on our own instincts and keep making ourselves see it with a fresh eye normally in this process. And Chris can speak a lot to this, but we like to have different people and different points of view and do different screenings for groups of people. So we had to find ways to do that virtually, send out a link to 25, 30 people that we knew that would, fill out a kind of a survey because we didn't want to just be trapped in an echo chamber and think oh, we did it. We nailed it. We really wanted to expose ourselves to what people were thinking about the movie early on. And that was a real challenge. And then to really just decipher those notes and then get back to okay, what is the movie we're working with every day? Because we're really kind of isolated, but it was an interesting process. We learned a lot. It was really difficult, but also incredibly rewarding.
Absolutely. The big question right now is, when and how would this film be released?
Yeah, we would like to know as well. We just premiered this weekend in Spain, which we weren't allowed to go due to the European Union restrictions on travel. So we don't know, it seemed like people liked it. We just now started, our sales team is just now sending it to potential buyers. So, if all goes well, we'll have news sometime in the near future. We don't know. We're holding out, maybe there's some American film festivals and stuff like that might happen if they happen. We were really hoping to get into Toronto, but that pretty much got stripped down to almost no films, and so we're not sure. But I think luckily Shudder and IFC Midnight and a lot of the horror opportunities out there, they really found a way to find audiences in this pandemic world that we live in. So hoping a place like that, we'll like the movie and find a way to get it in front of people as soon as we can.
Yeah, and hopefully, just like Chris said, hopefully more film festivals, domestically here in the US would be really exciting. And, kind of that's our best opportunity of like finding people who will gather together in safe ways, of course, and see the movie. But yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a pure independent movie. We made it not with a game plan of like, anything other than let's make the best movie we can and let's see if it'll connect with people out there, and hopefully that'll open up into something wider.
It's totally remarkable. I mean, I couldn't even imagine in these times, and just so much unpredictability and so much uncertainty to kind of know how to navigate, so I that's always been my big thing right now, is to just do whatever I can to try to help get the word out, because I just could not imagine at all. Thinking about that too, why was Citrus so important for you all to release it there?
Yeah, I had dreamed about, while we were filming the movie, I was like, this would be the perfect Citrus movie. That audience is like rabid. They love movies there. They give standing ovations to everything. Like, they're just super into it. Obviously, part of the movie's in Spanish, which we thought would really resonate there. We were very excited to submit it, and really excited when we got in, and extremely disappointed when we found out we wouldn't be able to go.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a really great, they call it the Cannes of genre festivals, so it was a big honor to be included there. And it seems like we found a few little like new fans and stuff through that, which is exciting. We got our first piece of fan art yesterday.
Awesome.
So we're on our way to getting a Funko Pop character to put on your wall.
Awesome. Also, the poster in the back is awesome. The design of I mean, I wouldn't mind having one of those, We could swap it out over here.
That was designed by a fantastic artist named Felipe Flores. You can check him out on Instagram and other places. And he's a super talented guy. His art style lent itself to like the classic EC Comics, style art. And he watched the movie. He really enjoyed it and it resonated with him. So we, engaged him on the poster, and
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Pulled it out, man.
Yeah, we'd like to get some printed out. Marcus made that one himself on his.
Oh, you print it out? I know, it's the only one. There's only one.
There's a really good horror festival in Germany called Shivers that I think it'll be the next place that it plays, and they're actually going to be printing out some posters for their lobby. And
awesome.
They're already playing the trailer in the theater, so we're that's in November, I think. So fingers crossed we could travel to that. That would be exciting, but I don't know if that'll happen either.
Hopefully we can just start trending in the right direction, world, hopefully.
Yeah.
So Marcus, I know you did pitch this idea to Chris, and you both talked a lot extensively in other interviews about the research process. And the one thing I said when watching this film is that it felt super authentic, although I did not know anything about it. You can just tell when something just seems genuine. And then upon reading that you all did research, I was very happy to hear that as well. But I do want to know, in the process of gaining this research, testimonies and interviews, did you ever find a moment where any of this tend to got too dark for you, or just too heavy upon doing it? I know, you said that a lot of it some of it had to do with your childhood as well, but like, did any of this ever become, too dark, heavy, or even triggering for you in the research, and maybe you had to kind of reel back a little bit at all?
Oh, certainly. I mean, there were definitely times where I was like, how did I go this far down the rabbit hole and clicked on a few of the wrong things? We would look at things that were fascinating, and you'd see different practices and videos of it, and you go, okay, what's our take on this, or what's our version of this? I'll tell you an example of one thing we didn't put in the movie, but it was in the script for a little while, and it was this crazy thing that I saw practiced in like further into South and Central America, but it was something called eye scraping, which was they take the practitioner takes a blade and like scrapes the eye gently and removes something, and then makes like clarity of the spirit and the sight and stuff like that. So I put it in there for a while, and it was really tough to read on paper. And as we got closer and closer to production, we realized, like, I don't even know if we can pull this off in a way that looks good and it's not reliant on CG, because we were taking a very practical approach, as you saw in the movie. A lot of the
definitely agree. Yep.
You can feel it and taste it, you know. So when we were looking at ways to do that, we just kept going, like, I think it's gonna not look right and probably gonna push the audience. I think if we did film that, that'd be a scene where, like, the audience would have left, and then also would have been like, there's no way people do this, and I'd have to be like, no, seriously, go Google it, it's out there. So that was definitely one that got real close, and we said, for a couple of different reasons, but also just we ended up in a better place with what we put into the movie. But you know,
we were in pre-production even before that got cut out. I found some videos like top 10 disgusting eye scenes. But like, we were watching it together, and I was like, I don't know. Like, well, first of all, like, people had already done a really good job of some of this disgusting stuff. So we were like, how are we gonna? If we can't do it different or better, then we'll just put a link to this and people can watch this.
So there, if you want to see it, it's out there.
That's funny. Considering both of you all are filmmakers too, did any of these interviews or any of the research you conducted, did you record any of it with anybody you did testimonies or anything with?
No, I mean, mostly like the inspirations were some of this. I would just keep probing my mom, who who grew up with more of this being a reality in her youth. And you know, she was raised very Catholic, but she had, like, anytime she'd drop a nugget of a story, I was like, what? Tell me more about that. What is this? So it was more about, like, that was kind of the early parts of it. And then it was a lot of just excavating, and we would keep documents amongst us and other producers and associate producers on the movie. And we would just keep collecting, like, ooh, this is an interesting piece of information. This is an interesting piece of information. And someone else who was really influential was the creature designer, Keith Thompson, early on. We brought him on before the script was even complete, like not the shooting draft, a draft of the script was out there. And he really, and Chris can speak to it some more, but he really, like, pushed us to do some more research. He did his own research and really filled out the world.
Yeah, he had worked on, he did the creature for The Ritual, which I don't know if you saw that movie on Netflix. A friend of ours directed that.
Mm-hmm.
He's also one of Guillermo del Toro's designers.
Yeah, he'd worked on Apocalypto, you know, whatever, 12, 13 years ago, which was...
Wow, has it been that long?
Wow. At least 12 years, probably, because, it was a long time ago. Surprisingly long. It was one of the first movies shot on a digital camera.
Yeah.
Film. So he had a ton of research into that area, and we started finding a lot of back and forth because we really wanted to make the creature not just a tacked on, like, let's just throw some scary thing in there. Like, we wanted it to be as integral to the backstory and the world as possible. So there was a lot of back and forth just in the script. Like, he would come up with ideas and we'd send him stuff, and then we'd rewrite scenes to make it make sense. And he had found a bunch of really cool, so I don't know who found it, but we found, you know, pictures of the royalty and stuff from that period. They would do this thing where they had elongated the skulls. You can find those in the tombs and stuff. So we started to imagine, like, all these ideas that were in the Aztec and Mayan drawings that we were finding, that maybe the people hadn't invented that maybe it was something they had seen, you know. So there was the head elongations. There was they find teeth that have been drilled and the jewels been put in them, which is, like, really horrifying when you just look at the real ones of that. There's a lot of imagery where, like, one of the tribal leaders will have hands on his face here that we thought was really interesting. So we incorporated that into the design as well. There's a lot of just little things here and there that would inform the script. That was a lot of back and forth where Mark's had already gotten the character arc and the emotional journey figured out, but then we wanted to find where's the right place in the world for this to take place, because it could have been Puerto Rico, or it could have been Central America, or it could have been Mexico, or anywhere in the Caribbean. But as we started to find all the things that we were gravitating towards visually and experientially, the place that made the most sense was Veracruz down in Mexico, because it had the right, geographically, it had the right influence from Afro-Caribbean and Spanish and Aztec and Mayan coming up from the south. And so we were able to kind of, once we learned more about the brujeria world, where they would really there was no like book, like it's not like the Bible where there's all these rules. Like the brujas and brujos would kind of invent whatever they felt was necessary to address whatever situation they were dealing with, and they would pick and choose from different cultures and influences, and it was their own kind of melting pot. So we loved that, because that gave us a ton of freedom to do the same, you know, without breaking any rules, because there didn't seem to be any. As long as we were true to what they would have had access to.
I you know, watching the film, first of all, nothing about this film feels indie at all. It's visually, aesthetically beautiful. Absolutely, the sound mixing is incredible. If you watch the screen black, you will definitely still get chills about just how everything just jumps out at you. But again, I just, you know, from the presentation, I just felt like everything was authentic. And then once I started doing my research, I was like, oh, they did research. And then this is why one of my biggest questions was like, well, did you ever get down a dark bag? Because like the more you read, you start wondering like, probably going to back a U-turn out of this one. I'm not sure if I'm ready for it.
Yeah, there's plenty, you know, documentaries and stuff that we watched as well, and things from Vice News did a really good, not an expose, but just an in-depth story down in the same area that was really helpful. There's a lot to find. I mean, there's plenty in our clipboard of things that we didn't use yet, and find a way to use in the future. Maybe it's a huge world, you know.
That's important, because I do have one more question for the last question, but I do because again, the importance of this film was the theme about how we can learn from the past and kind of incorporate in the world today. And I think, like, you know, regardless of when the film was made and whenever it was going to originally be released, considering it came out right now, that theme alone, this pays, it pays so many, it can pay towards so many different things, considering everything that's happening, to keep it as vanilla as I can. But, and then also, like, you know, you spoke about the past traumas being reconnected to, you know, your culture and everything. It has a lot of good things that's happening, both on the surface level and really in depth within the plot. And I think, you know, when you're looking at the main character here and you think about the demons that they're dealing with, and you can see the physical depiction of what the demons are, but actually the more of the spiritual thing and more of the cultural thing, like it you know, for this story, there's a lot you can get from it. And then also it's a lot that makes you want to like learn more about it. So I felt like it did a really good job. I'm pretty sure much like you, I would have loved to have seen this in a film festival setting, just to see what everybody's response was, because everybody's probably going to take away something different, but it will start that social commentary. But you know, for my last question, I definitely want to know what's next. Now, I know you do have some follow-ups to the old ways, and you say you got some leftover things. So, like, where are you kind of navigating with this?
Well, we'd love to do more in this world. I mean, it's definitely kind of an origin story, you know. For a, you know, mystical superhero, if you will.
Oh, okay.
So we have a lot of ideas of where it could go: prequels, sequels. Exploring the stuff that's in her red book, you know, who wrote the red book, what are all these other demons, because there's hundreds. So there's plenty to do there. We're working on ideas for that, just in case this movie does well. What else we got going on? We're working on more stuff.
Yeah, I mean, really, Nagier, this is, keep on getting the word out, man. Keep telling people about the movie. I mean, this is what it is. We've produced other independent movies. We love making different stories that are a little outside the mainstream.
Yeah.
So if this movie can continue to, affect people and make an impact, and hopefully more people see it, then we get to make more of them just like this. And that's really, we always have different irons in the fire and different projects we're working on, but this doesn't feel like work at all. It has been very, like we talked about, difficult and different and hard to do, but it's like this is why we've been friends for 25 years. This is why we moved out here to do this. And we just, thanks so much for your review. Was actually the first one I saw on the movie. I woke up at like 5:30 in the morning. You'd already posted it like earlier, and I was like, all right, well, hold on, let me put my headphones on and quietly watch it. So I enjoyed it. I was like, okay, well, I guess if it keeps going like this, and luckily there has been a lot of great response, just like your response. So it's very encouraging for us. Hopefully we'll get to make 100 more movies. Well, actually, maybe like 3 more movies in this vein. And keep the dream alive.
I love that you saw, you connected since you've got the gaming background too, you connected all the dots with Bridget's background, because she's building a pretty awesome nerd cred now. I mean, she's got Overwatch, Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
She's in Fear the Walking Dead now. She could have her own Comic-Con just with her one day. So I'm excited for her too. Hopefully this will be another.
Hey, gentlemen, and also you too, in your work all across all the streaming services, the Disney Pluses and Netflixes. So definitely working is hard. And again, it's just the little bit I can do. I just can't imagine. When we thought about the shutdown happening, it's like, okay, we got to sit in the house for a couple of weeks, but then you start realizing like that the film festivals, the Comic Cons, all that other stuff, and how do we navigate moving forward? It's just a really difficult time, and that's just the fan. And then I had to start thinking about like, wow, what about the people who's dumped tons of money in projects, and the only kickback they really want is just to see it with fans, and that's kind of heartbreaking when you think about it. And it's just the little things we take for granted, but if I can do just a little bit to help moving forward, that's what I'm gonna do.
Man, appreciate it. Thank you so much.
We need it. Exciting. Thanks so much.
Well, hopefully Shudder will make a call, because I can see this directly in that company right now. The old ways, folks, definitely check out my review. Definitely stay tuned for more information about where you can see this film, and definitely give Chris and Marcos, like, kind of stalk them a little bit, because they're going to be dropping a lot more information and interviews, I'm pretty sure, and you can keep up with this project and many more projects that they have coming down the pipeline. They're very amazingly talented, and how could you not appreciate and love 2 people who has 25 years of friendship, and they're doing what they have always wanted to do since kids, and that's make films for us. So I appreciate you all. Hope you all have a very good rest of your day. And good luck and much success for the future.
Yeah, thank you. Cheers.
Same to you.